Welcome to Down South Football Podcast for our third edition, our prediction show. But this week especially, we're going to have our special guest, Mr. John Garcia from SI Sports Illustrated, SI All-American, talking to us about some recruiting. Of course, we got in the building Mr. Hoodie Man himself. He got his hood on. At I Am DJ Double Dose, Mr. Ben Dennis. To the right of him is Mr. DL Gardner, David Gardner, and even coming up from a remote location. He's a dedicated to us, man. We got Chauncey Tuck in the building. But before I ask how y'all doing, our special guest, John, Mr. Garcia, how you doing, man?
Doing well, fellas. Always good to be on with you. It's busy. It's fun. You know, we got some college games. I see more got canceled today, but we got a few. So as long as we got a few, we'll be happy. Yeah,
some is better than none.
Exactly.
I think that's where we are with that. But before we really get started going into anything, couple of news of the day. The rich gets richer, as I call it. The SEC signed a new 10-year deal with ESPN/Disney for $300 million a year. The CBS deal was paying $55 million a year. I don't know what you heard, John, but I heard they wasn't even trying to negotiate for real. I don't know how true or how not true that is, but I just heard that CBS was kind of like, yeah, we'll go up a little bit. And I'm like, $55 million is a drop in the bucket to have that SEC contract, and basically you get first pick of the game every week. But one of the things that they released, they said, it's going to be a fan-friendlier schedule. Not so many schedule changes and stuff like that, or having to have a 7-day window to find out who's going to play at 2:30, which I'm pretty happy about that. But I'm not 100% on board with all the excitement that everybody is with it going to ESPN, because when you go to Big Brother, there's going to be something that's going to come along with it. That's just me as a as a fan, as a watcher. But I mean, it's good to see it. I know most Alabama fans and people in this state, I don't think they care about the fact that Gary's gone.
That's so jacked up, man. What did Gary do to you guys, man?
Gary has progressively gotten worse over the years. I just want to throw that out there. That's just me personally, and probably other fans of the SEC also, because I think Vern was there 5 years beyond his time. Just like, Lee Corso has been there 5-10 years before his time. They even gave Lee Corso a going away ceremony, and he still ain't left. So I don't know.
Hey man,
Lee ain't going nowhere.
You made that money as much as you made that money. That's how I am with that. But before we get into go ahead into what we're doing, we got to make sure we properly introduce Mr. Garcia, who's the recruiting director for Sports Illustrated. SI All-Americans, a great site, dope site if you're not doing it. Of course, they have the Sports Illustrated 99, which I'm still a huge fan of, because it's not based on those things that we call the stars. It's kind of based, and I think that clogs a lot of people's judgment. It's about, hey, these are the 99 best prospects, and this is what we're looking at, this is what we're doing. But check them out, www.siallamerican.com. If y'all ain't doing nothing else, y'all can at least do that for us. Before we talk about current recruits, still following Caleb Williams and his blog. Very, very interesting. Also, now I see you got Scoot Henderson. To people in this state, is a very, very important basketball prospect. Definitely in this state, that's doing his blog now. I thought that was very interesting. What's good on that front?
We just want to lift the player up. A lot of times nowadays, look, there's a whole industry on recruiting news, right? There's 4, 5, 6 major websites, and then there's a lot of independent websites covering recruiting now. Most major newspapers cover it, TV covers it. So basically, a lot of people are pulling at these kids. So we just wanted to create a way to where the kids can just say what they actually want to say, really uninterrupted. I mean, we put it together and we put it on the site, but really it's just what the prospect wants to put out about himself, whether it's on the field, off the field, or on the court, off the court, school, girls, prom, what have you. For the most part, we're good with whatever they want to get up there. And it's just another way to lift the athlete up and kind of let them know that we're an ally. We're covering the best of the best, but we want to cover the whole story. We don't want to just know, hey, where are you going to school? We like every step of the way and covering the human, not just the athlete. And that's the way we can kind of do it, on their time as frequently as they want. Like you said, Caleb Williams, he's ready to go every week. We've done like 41 weeks in a row with him. But others are less frequent. So it's really on their time whenever they want to kind of connect with us and send a message to everybody. So we're really proud of that part of what we've done and excited for more of those to come.
Okay. Speaking of some prospects that are left on the board, when early signing day come up, I think in the next couple of years we can stop saying early signing day and just saying signing day. Wide receiver, number one wide receiver in your SI 99, Emeka Egbuka. I guess I'm saying that right. What's going on with his recruitment? I see him and Caleb kind of seem to have a special connection. Is that something that you're kind of think is going to happen with him possibly with Oklahoma?
It's possible. He's got a relationship with obviously a lot of great players. He's one of these guys that's been the number one type of receiver for a long time. So he's gotten to know a lot of different coaching staffs and commits that are headed to different schools. He's down to 3. Ohio State, Oklahoma, and then Washington is the home state school. Some people view that as kind of a courtesy. I do think that Washington's probably 3rd today. But that said, Emeka's done a good job of keeping things pretty close to the vest. But I think the timing of the announcement certainly has to make you feel good if you're an Oklahoma fan. He had never been to Oklahoma, and then he goes down there last weekend, spends the whole weekend with Caleb Williams, number one quarterback in the country. They throw together, they eat together, they hang out together, they go to the game together. He really got sort of an official visit in a time where you can't really do that with college coaches. But I think the next best thing for all these schools is their quarterbacks kind of leading that charge. And Caleb's been on the kid even since before he committed to Oklahoma. So there's no doubt that they have a relationship. Caleb said that it was like he'd known him forever, even though that was their first time really spending time together. So they're chopping it up, joking when they're throwing with each other. There's already chemistry on the field, and that's tough to beat. Although if anyone's going to beat that for a receiver these days, it's probably Ohio State. And that's been the school that has been linked to him longest, really since the spring. We were hearing, hey, Oklahoma or Ohio State, I should say, is close to landing this kid, but he never pulled the trigger. So if he's going with the timing of, hey, I'm taking the visit, making a decision, you got to feel good for OU. But if he goes with sort of his long-standing decision, as far as we know, we think it's probably Ohio State. Okay.
Two more prospects, and then I'm gonna let the fellow. I know I got a lot of questions. I'm gonna let the fellows make sure they get all their questions in. Xavier Sorey and Tyrion Arnold. Tyrion Arnold is definitely a big linebacker / safety prospect in this state, and Xavier Sorey too. Xavier Sorey, I hear different things. I hear Bama. That's what I've heard mostly lately. What's your thoughts on Xavier?
So what's interesting about those two close friends, they're both SI-99 guys, both versatile, right? You mentioned Arnold can play anywhere from in the box to true safety, and Nick Saban wants him as a corner, believe it or not. And then Sorey at his previous high school, he's at IMG now, but at his previous high school, quarterback, running back, safety, receiver, everything, just the biggest, baddest guy on the field, but he's a linebacker, most likely at the next level. So they're very close, and they want to play together. But here's the key. Arnold isn't ready to make that decision. Sorey is. So we think Sorey comes off the board on Wednesday, on signing day, between those big 3 in the SEC right now, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia on the recruiting trail. Those 3 have really been round robining for him. And depending on who you talk to and when, you get a different answer on where he's leaning. I am hearing more Georgia and Bama, like you mentioned. Florida maybe 3rd at this point, but a lot can change in short order. His mom, a big Gator fan, so I think Dan Mullen may make a few calls here over the weekend. So we'll see if something changes leading up till Wednesday, but they were talking about being a package deal. But now that Arnold isn't ready, he's going to sign in February. Obviously, that's going to be hard for them to accomplish. Doesn't mean they can't both go to the same school, but the original plan was to do it at the same time. So I think wherever Sorey goes, that doesn't tell us necessarily where Arnold may go in February. And with him, I hear a little bit more Florida buzz, ironically enough. So I think there's still a long way to go in that recruitment, but both guys will play in the SEC. Alabama's in it for each of them. Auburn is in it for Sorey, although they look like they're on the outside looking in at this point. But right now, I'm hearing a little bit more Georgia and Alabama 1-2 for Xavier at this time.
Okay. Well, we definitely could go down a list with so many things, but I know there's a topic that there's a guy, Mr. David Gardner, wants to get to and get your opinion about the kids in the class of 2021. We all know the top prospects are going to get heavily recruited, whether there's on-campus visits, whether there's a dead period, whether what's going on or not. For those that's not, and with the NCAA extending the dead period all the way out as far as they did, what's your best advice for them? I mean, because there's a lot of great kids that just not getting evaluated. I mean, there's some that don't get evaluated on a year where you can see everybody.
And now it's even harder.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of factors hurting that 21 group. Not only, as you mentioned, all the COVID-related delays and restrictions when it comes to evaluation, right? No spring ball, no off-season camps, no college camps. And for a lot of these kids that are in, outside of the South, no high school football either. 17 states are still trying to figure that one out. They pushed it to the spring, and now all of a sudden things aren't looking so good with this pandemic in terms of what they thought when they delayed everything. And now there's talk that, states like California might not have high school football, period. So it's really, really unfortunate. So what you're seeing is a lot of events popping up. I actually am going to one on Sunday down here in Florida. There's sort of a showcase for all classes, and I know a lot of 2021 recruits are going to try to participate and be seen by the college or the high school coaches and others who are going to be there. So I think you're going to see more events popping up December into January that are going to feature seniors, which is something we don't usually see. But I think you're also going to see more prospects not sign in December. It's still going to be the majority. It's still going to be, I would estimate at least 60%, but in the last few years, we've seen 75%. So that's a big chunk that may be not necessarily forced, but maybe cautious in waiting to see what happens in February. And a lot of these colleges are going to be heavy on that in February as well, because the transfer portal is heating up. Nobody is losing eligibility on the current rosters at these schools. So all these schools are still trying to figure out what in the world are we doing with recruiting? How much space do we really have? I expect a lot of movement over the holiday break. I think come January, a lot of these universities are going to try to continue football and start to have meetings, and they're going to have a lot less players that show up because they're just never going to come back from the holiday break. So there's a lot of factors that are hurting the class of 2021. And I think chief among them, besides the pandemic itself, is these college coaches trying to figure out just exactly how much space they got. Not to mention the jobs that are open, the jobs that are going to open. Arkansas State head coach left today for Utah State. This is later than when we're used to having this conversation. Usually that's the end of November when we're talking about, hey, this job is open, this job got filled. So these coaches are going to go into signing day, some schools, without having replaced coaches that either have been fired or left. So there's so much uncertainty with this December signing day outside of that group that you talked about with those elite kids that I think you're going to see more kids wait until February. So there could be more opportunity, but there's a lot more that each school is dealing with from a roster management standpoint as well. So it's one of those that everyone's kind of hurting because of one thing.
Day? Did he?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess the headphones were acting crazy. But I guess my question would be, now that we know that December signing day is pretty much done, next week, you got January, February coming with the February signing day, but you also got conferences that's going to be kind of ramping up to do their spring season. So I think how do you feel, John, that's going to affect the recruiting? Because most times once they get in season, their communication kind of takes a little bit. So Not only are they got to prepare for a season, it's just they've never prepared for a spring season before. So what do you think that's going to look like?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Dave. I think we've never seen a spring season, first of all, right? And then everybody's schedule is off. Like the MEAC's doing one thing, this conference is doing the other thing. And what's hard for me to understand about it is the programs that are playing college football in the spring are the ones with a little bit less resources. So like you said, when it comes to recruiting, they don't have 30 people in the office like Alabama does, where they could say, hey, let's get updates on these 200 kids like today. They can't do that. Right. So it's on the college coaches and the position coaches, and they're just going to have that much less time to accomplish any of that by the time February rolls around. Like you said, some of those schools will be in game 1, game 2 mode, and then they're having a signing day, which is something that obviously really never happens in college football. Even with this early signing period, there's always a break. It's always during the normal conference championship window, right? So there's only a few teams that are busy game planning, and they're usually the best teams, and they're usually in the best shape anyway. So when it's smaller levels beyond the FBS with less resources and less time, it just makes it, again, that much harder. So what I'm curious about is if this thing extends. So I think there's a misconception about the February signing period. We look at signing day as the first Wednesday of February and be like, all right, let's crown a champion, and we'll do that again. But it's really the first day of a signing period that extends all the way to April. So I'm wondering how many kids are going to be signing throughout February and March, because there's that much more time and there's going to be that much more movement, because the D1 teams are going to be going through spring ball, we think, right? And then everyone else is going to be having some kind of spring season. So the transfer portal, again, roster management and numbers is going to be more wild and more fluid than we've ever seen before. And obviously that affects recruiting and what you can bring in.
All right, chunking the headphones. All right, so now, John, you brought up an interesting point, because I in my last post on Facebook, I asked for a lot of parents to join in and hopefully they'll at least listen to it after the show, because I think there is a misconception about that February signing day, because I've seen kids rush and sign a letter of intent, and what happens is they decide not to go to the school. Well, that school won't release them. So guess what? If you go to another school, guess what? You can't play that first year. So that February signing day is just like you said, just a hoorah day. But you can have your hoorah day. We're used to the pandemic now of being quarantined, so you have your hoorah day on your own. On your own time. You don't have to be in front of 100 people to do it. So one other question I had on my mind, because I've been researching prep schools, which, if for you all that don't understand what a prep school actually is, basically it's a way for a postgraduate prep school. Let me put it that way. A way for a kid to graduate high school, do a semester at a postgraduate prep school. They may take 2 classes. As long as they don't take over 12 credit hours, they don't lose a year of eligibility. So that kid gets to play another semester, gets game film, and then he gets to reclassify as a freshman the following year. So with that being said, in your experience, do you think that you may see that prep school market maybe heat up a little bit with all this going on?
That's another really good point. I don't see why not. If there's the thing, there's like 830 colleges that play football, and that's not including any post-grad programs, right? So I don't know the numbers for the post-grad programs, but they're basically everywhere. They're all over the place, especially in the South, all the way up to the Virginia area. There's a lot of places where kids can play, like you said, and not lose eligibility, which is really the biggest knock against junior college, other than the lack of resources is that you're losing eligibility. So if you go there and you're a backup and you're rotating in and you're playing every game, you lost that year. You are now a sophomore going into whatever school you go to or your second year of junior college. So I think that's a big a big deal when you're talking about a small 4-year window that you have to play college football. So I know a lot of success stories from the post-grad route. It was probably more popular in the early 2000s. And I think the junior college popularity has risen because of Netflix and I think Last Chance U, things like that. So you're not seeing kids consider post-grad that much or prep schools that much. And I think that could be something that changes because, again, everybody's roster management is going to be put to the test. And you might not have a spot February 3rd or March 3rd, right? So I do think that's an option for parents. Again, there needs to be a window of communication with whatever schools you're in it with. Yes. Ask them for honesty and go from there. When we get to this time of year, they got to be honest. There's no more fluff. There's no more, oh, we love your kid, but no, you're either in or you're out at this point. And I think parents and prospects are sometimes afraid to ask that question. So definitely ask those questions and truly see what's out there in terms of junior college, post-grad, et cetera. Even Division II, Division III, I think, are better options sometimes because they do have a little bit more structure. They're 4-year universities, and you could always transfer up if you're good enough, right? So there's a lot of information that is accessible out there, but just don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for honesty because really that's, at the end of the day, that's all you can hope to expect from college coaches.
Right. And my last thing, Renard, and I'll get off of this. For
good?
those that are out here that are parents and have kids in athletics, man, a lot of stuff that I'm sharing with you is stuff that I've learned over these last 2 to 3 years. I mean, the thing about Division III schools, guys, is that they don't give athletic money, okay? Which means that you're going to be, if you want money to go to school, your kid's going to have that GPA, the ACT to be able to get that academic stuff. Your D2 schools, most times, 97% of the time, they're not going to get full ride. So it's going to be a half and half academic, half athletic. And then now you got your NAIA school. I guess my only knock with them is that they give athletic money, but heck, the schools are so expensive to where you might as well just go where you want to go and walk on. But that's just my take on it, John. I appreciate you, answering those questions for me. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, D3 NAIA. Look, I mean, I always say this: if you're good enough, they're gonna find you. There's Tampa Bay
has proven that's for sure.
they got a D3, center snapping to Tom Brady. If you're good enough, they will find you. Especially now with technology. If you're a D3 kid and you go off for 300 yards, guess what? It's going to be on SportsCenter, because it's accessible. So, and the same thing for the high school and collegiate level. So there's always a way. And that's a good point, David, about the athletic scholarships and the money. You got to do your homework on that stuff. And on that same token, there's a lot of scholarships out there that you or your son might be able to qualify for that you didn't even know existed if you start looking at, FCS, some HBCUs, NAIA, D2, D3, et cetera. There's some money out there for you. And I would imagine, I don't know this yet, but I would imagine because of all that's happened this past year, there could be even more scholarships out there, smaller, but there could be even more out there to help with all of that. Because obviously that's student loans and all that is a whole different nightmare scenario. But there are a lot of other avenues out there to try to get some money for college. And if you got to sacrifice it for 1 year, maybe you try to, obviously ball out if you're a prospect, and then you could transfer up and kind of go from there. But there's always, if you want to play college ball, you really can. I mean, there's really nothing stopping you from having a chance to play college ball if you're willing to go further away from home and maybe go outside of your comfort zone a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Senator Tuck, Chauncey Tuck, as we call him, Senator Tuck, has a question.
I was just making sure the good Reverend David Garner.
Look, he done had his nap today, took, and he's sipping his wine, so he good.
Yeah, he's wide awake. He's wide awake. I just wanted to know if do you see any surprises from any schools as far as making a big jump from what their recruiting rankings is, quote unquote rankings are right now, to probably making them having a decent class of right now. Do you see any university jumping up higher in rankings?
Yeah, Ole Miss is shooting their way up very quickly.
Lane ain't playing.
Yeah, and it's easy to see, right? If you're an offensive skill guy, I mean, hello. I think they've picked up 4 or 5 commits in the last 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. And then there's some kids that are decommitting from other schools that are heavily considering them. Hudson Wolf's an SI99 tight end who decommitted from Tennessee today.
I saw
Ole Miss is emerging as the favorite. Malik McLean's a Mobile kid, former Daphne High School receiver, decommitted from Florida State. Sorry, Ben.
Look, once he got it was like once he got that bump to that 4 star, it's like he literally decommitted the same week he got the bump to the 4 star.
Well, other schools are definitely trying to grab him. Ole Miss is in it for him. There's a couple other guys in the state of Alabama that Ole Miss is trying to flip, and they're doing it. They're doing as well as anyone here over the last few weeks. So Ole Miss is definitely trending way up. They're not even in our top 25 right now, but with the run that they're on, they're probably going to have a good chance to crack that top 25 next week before signing day is all done. So in the SEC, they're definitely the program that's trending on the way up. I think elsewhere, it's been pretty status quo. There's not a team that's going nuts right now and adding a bunch of players. I do think Texas A&M has a chance to finish really, really well, which you would expect given what they've done on the field this year for sure. And then obviously the race for number 1 is still going to come down to Ohio State, Alabama, maybe Georgia if they hit on all of their targets there in the end. I think Clemson's gonna finish here pretty well. Some teams going the other way. LSU, there's a lot of smoke around that program right now. Mm-hmm. They were number 3 in our November update. They will not be number 3 in our December update. There's just a lot going on with LSU. Unfortunately, Florida State lost quarterback Luke Altmaier, and that's really been a domino effect for them. So we'll see how that shakes out for them. I think February is going to be your window there, Ben. But December's not looking too hot.
I got one question for you. It's about one prospect. Brandon Jennings. He was a long time legacy Florida State commit. He decommitted, committed to Michigan. But since Michigan's been having the year that they've been having, I've been hearing rumblings about possibly Maryland being in play, or what are you hearing on your end? How was that shaping out? Do you think he's standing firm with Michigan, or?
Look, there's a lot of programs that there's not a lot of answers to when it comes to the coaching staff stability. I think Auburn's in that group. I think Michigan's in that group. There's several, and I think that really makes commits anxious, especially somebody like Brandon coming from Jacksonville, going all the way up to Ann Arbor. You mentioned he's an FSU legacy. His older brother's playing at Miami, so really everything's down south for him for the most part. So now that schools like Maryland have noticed that there's a possibility that he might be getting cold feet, no pun intended, they're trying to pounce. Maryland's actually one of the programs that is trending up. They're starting to recruit really well here under Mike Loxley, who obviously Alabama fans know very well. Kids are getting a good feeling about that program, good vibe there in a Big Ten, in a stable conference that has shown this year that they're willing to do what they got to do to play ball, which is something that we were all doubting at one point in the offseason. So I think that was big for the Big Ten. But Jennings, I could see him ending up anywhere. I could see him ending up back at FSU, or maybe not even signing in December.
And that's what I've been hearing too. Like maybe he's really taking a step back and thinking about everything. Because again, I mean, you look at Michigan, and like you said, I don't think Harbaugh is going to be out of there, but I mean, you never really know.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about NFL teams that want him to jump back up
Detroit.
to the top. Yeah, so probably
They
wouldn't
want
be-
him bad.
but that's the chatter. So yeah, kids see that. That's the thing. Like 10, 15 years ago, no kids saw any of that, right? They only reacted after something actually happened. But now, because of social, because we're all quarantined in front of computer screens and stuff, kids see everything. Like even allegations and reports and things that aren't even done yet. They see all of it. So perception right now is maybe as important as it's ever been in recruiting. And you could see why a kid from Florida is like, hold on, like I thought this was different when I flipped from Florida State, which was a big deal for him. Obviously, emotional ties there, all that stuff.
Because he committed in his dad jersey and the whole nine. Like it was a pretty big deal. And like you said, and then the flip like that, interesting.
But you know what, John? My biggest fear, and I think Renard and I discussed it earlier, either today or yesterday. My biggest fear, man, is for these recruits that they're kind of signing with schools that they've never really had a chance to really visit because of COVID. Normally you get to spend on a normal circumstance, you get to spend a weekend in the city, and places like that. You say, okay, well, I want to go to Ann Arbor. Well, you see Ann Arbor on TV and you think it looks nice, but you've never been in a winter in Michigan.
Just the virtual tools that they're giving them and stuff like that.
And that is not the same as feeling that win.
It's not. But I'm saying.
But if we're seeing that transfer portal heat up this year, I think it's going to really be on the rise next year because I think a lot of kids are going to take some deals and realize that, hey, this is not the place for me, man.
That's a great point. I mean, hundreds of kids, literally, between December and February, are going to sign with schools that they've never seen in person.
Yes.
Which is crazy to think about, but those are the circumstances. Kid from Bibb County down in Alabama, Deshaun Morrell, one of the best running backs in Alabama.
Yeah,
he's pretty much down to Penn State and UCLA. And he's a country boy from Alabama.
And we know, and if you ever heard Deshaun talk, if you never heard him talk, trust me, if you just turned on the recording, man, and you'll be like, no, that ain't no way that's that kid. I mean, you're talking about a kid that literally there's no way, great kid, by the way, but no way he's been to Los Angeles, and there's no way he's been to pass the Mason-Dixon line, let's put it that way.
Right.
But yeah, perfect example.
Yeah, there's so many of those, and really that's why he decommitted in the first place. And we saw a lot of decommits when all the COVID restrictions were extended through the rest of the year. A lot of kids were like, well, dang, I can't take visits anymore. Let me start over. And he was one of them, decommitted from UCLA because he had never been. And now, with it extended all the way to April, he's SOL, like a lot of kids are. And so you've seen kids that are able, they're getting in the car, they're just driving to the school and hoping there's a Caleb Williams there to hang out with and show them around. But obviously most kids either don't have those resources or the time to do things like that, or the person on the other side who's going to kind of help them out and show them around. So it's again, really unfortunate for this year, but a lot of kids are going to sign with schools that they've never even been close to, never been in the same state as. So like you said, the portal is going to be popping. It's already popping right now. It's going to be popping probably for the next 18 months because of this. So that's a really good point. And again, how these coaches manage their numbers, I don't even know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I have a question on that. That leads directly into one of my next questions. You got transfers, regular transfers. You got this, apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, John, this one-time transfer rule that's getting ready to be possibly approved in January. Then you got quote-unquote opt-outs, whatever you want to say. That's a whole nother issue with me. Then you have the decommits, some that are real decommits and some that's getting told hit the door. And then you have all that, and you're trying to figure out and I know the NCAA has not said 100%, or just to be clear about where they are with this scholarship thing with everybody coming back. So you get players have the most movement they've ever had, like the most freedom they've ever had. Like, what is going to be the cap out point? What do you think is going to happen? Just take any Power 5 program. What do you think going to happen with scholarships? Like, if you got 90% of your class is coming back, whether they're seniors or whether they're sophomores or whatever. Like, what have you heard or what do you think is going to happen with the 85 scholarship limit?
Well, it's got to get into the hundreds. I mean, there's no way you can try to recruit and still be pushing that 85 number when 0 players are losing any eligibility. Now, obviously, if the kid's got a degree and he's not starting or what have you, he's probably done. Or if they're an NFL prospect, obviously they'll be done. But for the most part, there's going to be, I would imagine, every school is going to have a couple seniors from this year that are there next year, going into master's programs or getting their second master's at some schools. So it can't be under 100. I've heard 125, I've heard 115. But like you said, there's been a lack of clarity, and the NCAA needs to do something about it because, signing day is next week. So these kids are going to be bound to these universities as early as Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. So they got to make a move quickly here. We think they will in January, and it might have something to do with the one-time transfer ruling. So we're going to have to wait on that a little bit here. But they got to do something with it because it's even when they have the number, it's going to be hard, right? So if you're signing 25 guys right now and you don't know who all is coming back on your roster, you're going to be over 115 basically by default. So it's really tough even if you know the number. So they got to at least get to that point so that these coaches can start figuring that stuff out and these players can start figuring that stuff out because some of these kids are thinking they're going to go be a backup receiver somewhere. And coach is going to come and sit them down and say, hey, it's time to get your degree and move on and enter the job or whatever you want to do, out of here kind of thing. So, again, all of this has created layers and layers of issues that we still don't have the answers for. And it's, December 10th.
Right.
All this started in March and it's December 10th and we still don't have some of these answers. So you understand the frustration from basically everyone involved in one layer or another of this issue. And again, hopefully January clears it up a little bit, but even then there's still going to be a lot to figure out. Okay.
Well, I think John has covered most of all, but I think we need to go ahead. Y'all ready to move into the let's get some fun going. John got us all ready to go.
Educated up, got us all educated up.
Hey, y'all ready to have a little fun. It's time for us to have a little bit of fun. We're gonna get some picks in, and John has the games. So Tuck, make sure you writing down John too. Now,
let me tell you, he has no bias between any schools or anything. He ain't like Kurt. He can pick any game he wants to.
Don't do John like that, man. Don't do John like that. All right. So let's start with the first game. Let's start with. We got Arizona State versus Arizona. Arizona's a 10-point favorite. Friday, 6 p.m., ESPN. Not going to let the guests go first. Since he like to be in first place for everything, let's just go with Mr. Chauncey Tuck. Sir, go ahead.
Give me the Fighting Herms. That's what I'm going to give. Give me Herm Edwards and those Arizona State Sun Devils because the Wildcats are not about nothing right now.
So. Ben, we'll let John go almost last.
I'm gonna go ahead and rock with the Fighting Herms as well.
Now we did this last week. Y'all know what happened. we
we're gonna disagree. We're gonna disagree sooner or later. You know that.
Oh, it's coming. It's definitely coming. Dave.
Well, fool me once, shame on. Is it me or you? Shame on me. So I will not be picking the Fighting Herd this week. I'm going with the favorite. I'm going with Arizona, man.
Okay. I'll go then. I'll go ahead and go. Then we let John go last. Yeah, man. I'm fighting. I'm gonna go with the Fighting Herms this week. The Wildcats are a mess, offensively and defensively. So I got faith in Herm. Hopefully he can bounce back from last week. So give me the Fighting Herms. So John, it's on you.
I'll take Arizona actually. I think first of all, neither program has been great this year, but I think Arizona State has been a bit of a mess on their end. I think their secondary is vulnerable, and we know one thing about Sumlin, Grant Gunnell, they're going to push the ball down the field or try to. So I think they hit on a few big ones, and it'll be enough in what should be a pretty close game and a big rivalry. So I'll take Arizona State in recruiting. I'll take Arizona on the field.
Gotcha. Well said.
John giving better announcements. We might make him go first. No,
whatever you want. It's your show.
No. Utah at Colorado, man. Colorado's a 2-point favorite. 11 a.m. on Fox. Mr. Tuck, there you go. It's on you, sir.
They're going to be in Boulder, Colorado, in the morning.
In December.
Yeah.
Give me those Buffaloes, Buff City. Let's get it. Let's go.
Okay. Ben?
If it would have been a Friday game, I would have took Utah, but give me Colorado.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Colorado because if it's 11 o'clock our time, it's at least about 9 o'clock their time.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna be
Breakfast.
A little crispy, a little crispy out there. So yeah, give me Colorado.
Okay, I'm a roll with Utah. So that's what I got. I got Utah. John?
I was gonna say no. I know you got love for Jake Bentley.
Yeah, you gotta look. You gotta have love for Jake Bentley. They've had some COVID issues that really slowed them down. But yeah, Jake Bentley kind of doing not so much exactly what he did in South Carolina. He about the same.
This will be low scoring, cold, like you guys have mentioned, early. It's gonna be a weird one. It's gonna be like a missed kick or a safety. Something weird like that. Give me Utah. Give me Utah on the road. Utah.
Okay. Yeah. See, John agree with me. I feel good about myself now. Just
you need all the help you can get, dog.
I feel you, dog. Because I do spreads. I don't do straight up a lot of times. So we got next on the docket. We got Georgia at Missouri. Georgia's a 13-point favorite. 11 a.m. SEC Network. So we're gonna start with Tuck. I don't think it's gonna be much of a what.
Look, let me tell you, brother. This one, this is the one. This is the one that I might. Nah, Georgia. Give me Georgia.
Ben.
Give me them Tigers, man. Give me Mizzou at home, 11 o'clock kick. Dave done told you don't nobody want to play out there, especially at 11 o'clock in the morning. Give me the Mizzou Tigers. Plus, my cousin graduated from there, played D1 ball for him, Reggie Smith. Shout out to Reggie. Give me them Missouri Tigers.
Has nothing to do with on the field, but go ahead.
Shout out to Reggie.
Reggie Smith.
Man, I've said it week after week after week. Nobody wants to play at Missouri but Missouri. especially at they would be
they central. They still central.
So 11 o'clock, still early. It's gonna be cold. Man. Give me Missouri, man. I'm taking the upset. Nobody want to play out there. They don't even have a track around their field. I don't know what that black
they do.
Just run out. Everybody run out of bounds. Just fall.
Look at Tuck. He talking about the lead is wide, and look at him.
Hey, with him keeping score, it don't really matter. I'll never catch up anyway.
Don't worry, we have it on video, sir. We'll take care of this. So at least you knew last week was correct. At least you knew that. But man, that I've struggled going back and forth with this because I really think Missouri can cover that 13 easily. But now whether them right out beating Georgia, that's a whole other thing. But it's the end of the year. It don't matter no more. I'm rolling with them Tigers too. I'm rolling with the top row. The top row say Missouri. Let's go Missouri. Missouri has been hot. They've been doing better, but and I like everything they got going on right there with Drinkwitz, but give me Missouri, man. Why not? So, John, it's on you, sir.
Yeah, if we're picking the spread, I would take Missouri as well, but we're not. So I'll take Georgia. It will be that they can score. Missouri can throw the ball on anybody. So they'll be able to move the ball, but I just think Georgia is going to go old school SEC, run the ball, control the clock, and it'll be a boring one over in Columbia.
Ooh, boy, that's early too, boy. I can't be out there for that. I'm sorry.
You got to be a fan of both of them schools to watch that, or a gambler.
Hey, bro, you take whatever football you can get this year. You got to watch it all. So next on the docket is an interesting game. It's Wisconsin versus number 10 Iowa. Wisconsin's a 1-point favorite. This game is going back and forth. 2:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network / FS1. Like apparently hasn't been 100% decided. So, Senator Tuck, you go ahead and first, sir.
This is gonna be one of those games gonna go back and forth. Wisconsin let me down last week, so I'm not gonna make that same mistake. Shout out to the kids at Children's Hospital when they do the wave and everything. Give me an hour.
Okay, Ben.
Same for me, man. I'm rolling with them Hawkeyes. Give me an hour.
Mr. Gardner.
I believe Iowa is they're pretty good, man. They actually got some ballers up there. Not that they hadn't always had some ballers, but I mean this year they're doing pretty good. Give me Iowa, man. I have no faith in Wisconsin after last week.
I got you, man. But I think this is the first time that Wisconsin's played back-to-back games all year. If I'm not mistaken, because of all the issues, I could be right. I could be wrong about that. But it's very, very close. I saw Wisconsin their first game, and I'm just kind of like, man, they really got something there. And then it just kind of like they got the COVID issue. They had all the kind of stuff that's going on. So I'm gonna roll with Wisconsin this time.
Yeah, I'm with you, Renard. Wisconsin, that defense is still really good. We'll see if the offense can come back around, but I'll take Wisconsin's defense. It travels.
That is definitely for sure. This one is a local flavor game. Next one's going to be UAB versus Rice. UAB is a 7-point favorite. First of all, let's just give a hand clap for UAB finally being able to play a game.
Because we talked about that pre-show. I was like, no, when the last time they played, man?
Halloween.
Yeah, I thought it's been about a month.
Boy, and them kids are hung in there, man. They are 7-point flavor against Rice. Noon on ESPN3 game. Go ahead, Tuck. What you got on it, sir?
Give me those Blazers. Blaze on.
Blaze on. Ben?
Home team. Go ahead and give me UAB them Blazers.
David?
Hey, man, can't go against the home team, especially if they hadn't played in 16 weeks. So, yeah, give me
They're fresh, right?
Hey, if there's ever been a time they were ready to play some football, I think it'd be this Saturday. Give me UAB. Damn it.
I'm with you, man. I'm definitely rolling with UAB. I think they're gonna win by 10 or more easily, but I just think because they haven't played, I think it's time, and they've been itching to play, and it hasn't really been on their end not playing. So that's why I say give me UAB.
Love UAB, but Rice is good. Rice is really good. Yeah.
Right.
They knocked off Marshall, who was undefeated. Hey, UAB's got a lot of opt-outs. Watkins is out.
Yeah.
Give me Rice. I'll be the lone wolf on this one.
Okay.
All right.
We have to now where did Senator Tuck go? Next one is going to be I can see David put his head down. Hold on. Let me give John a little backstory so he understands. Of course, you know Louisville quarterback is a really good friends of David. David coached him when he was in the youth league. So anytime we get Louisville on the show, it hurts him. That's why you see the head rolls and everything else.
David,
But,
can you tell me what happened from Malik to Mikhail? What was that? What is that? He was Malik when I covered him.
Right. He's always been Malik. Mikhail, somebody in Louisville in the press found out his first name is actually Mikhail. And so I think they asked the question, which one of you mine? I don't think he really cared. And so they started doing Mikhail. But it's Malik, man.
So who you picking, Dave?
Hold on. We're gonna let's do it. What we were gonna do. Okay, Tuck. So your pick.
I am going with the Demon Deacons. Because like I said, John said, Wisconsin defense travels. Louisville defense does not go anywhere. So home or away. So give me Wake Forest.
Wow. that hurts a little bit. Ben?
Go ahead and give me Louisville, man, because we got Wake the following week, so I want them to be depressed. So give me Louisville, man.
What? Oh my God. Dave, who you got?
Hey, man. First of all, shout out to Malik. He's graduating. I think it's either this week. I think it's this week. I don't know if they're having a Friday commencement or not, but hey, shouts out to him. Congratulations. That's what it's all about when it's all said and done. But I'm gonna roll with you one more time, Lee. Let's roll, baby. Let me look.
I just it's Louisville defense for me. It's not Malik. I love Malik. It's just they defense, bro. It's like it's like I mean,
don't exist.
It's just like tan the paper, dog. I'm just like it's just shredded. So for that reason only, just give me Wake Forest, man. That's why I'm at with them.
If Tutu was still there, I would go with Louisville, but he just opted out too. I think Malik have try to find some new help at the skill position. So give me Wake Forest. Hartwell kid can sling it. They almost beat North Carolina. He can light it up. So I think he lights up that defense, as Renard was saying.
Yeah, give me that. Now look. Now John is new to the show to the prediction show part. Every week, John, we have a segment that's really just kind of a game of the week. We try to do like a close game or a game that we think that each one of us is not going to really be all for. But we have a special thing that we call it, and you'll see it in a second when it pops up on your screen. But it's really just our game of the week. I'm gonna take that off because it's time for the Tito.
Where's that, Nort?
Redmond. Cash Day. I don't get cash.
Y'all got some sponsors. Let's go.
Unofficially.
Cash App game of the week, and this week it is going to be. I say it's going to be UNC versus Miami.
Oh my goodness, really?
Oh yeah, bro. I had to get you. Y'all thought y'all get off easy. Miami.
I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. I don't like neither one of these options. I don't like this at all.
Oh my goodness, great.
Miami's a 3-point favorite. 2:30 p.m. ABC. Senator Tuck, you up first.
It's in Miami. Give me Miami Hurricanes. Close. Close. Give me Miami close.
Okay, Ben.
They riding too high. They feeling too good about themselves.
Wait a minute. Pause. Hold on one second.
Give me no. What?
No, you know. I know I don't know why with the Ben. I
You
know
knew he's picking
Miami. He ain't gonna never pick Miami. So go ahead.
Give me Sam Howell and them Tar Heels. You know what I'm saying? That'll be the one feather in my cap that I can talk about all year that we took them down and y'all didn't. Damn it. Give me one little feather. There we go.
Dave.
I'm gonna lean on the fact that the last few years, Miami has not been the team in December that they were in September. Things always happen and they consistently do this. And it's COVID season on top of that. So anything is possible. Let's go to North Carolina, man. I think Tar Heels go down and get a win.
Interesting. Tuck, who you went with?
Miami.
Oh, you went with Miami? Yeah, I figured you would. I'm rolling with the Tar Heels too, man. I'm rolling with the Tar Heels too. I'm sorry.
Once again, I stand alone.
So that means everybody is against Tuck, right?
We don't know what John gonna say yet.
We don't know what John gonna say yet. Okay. John is not involved in the cash part though.
Look, North Carolina's balanced, right? They can run it, they can throw it. That defense has shown some vulnerability, especially to physical teams. Notre Dame beat them up real good. FSU, when they ran the quarterback, actually beat them up pretty good. So I think Miami, with Derek King and all those running backs, actually controls the game. And on defense, they'll build a lead. They got the pass rushers to play with the lead. Miami does. They'll have multiple draft picks from this D-line, and the Canes get it done at home. I think it's a different team with King and those guys. I mean, they're peaking right now. So I'll take the Canes.
Yeah,
hey John, before we get off this, and I always said that it's crazy how the 1 year that they have really done what they were supposed to do, because like they said, they normally kind of fold a little bit down the stretch. But this is the one year that they've sustained and done what they were supposed to do. But Notre Dame is in the ACC and it ain't no division, so they won't get to actually revenge their loss against Clemson in the ACC title game.
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't even if they got there, but I know what you're saying.
Right. You can't tell them that though.
But this would have been the team though. Right, you're right.
Right, this would have been the one to try to go in for a second time to try to get it done.
You know, I'm having second thoughts because
well, you go ahead before we move on, brother.
Give me them Canes.
Okay.
No,
You got a pre-signing day flip.
Okay. There you go, flipper.
Hey, and for everybody that's watching, man, when we do the cash up game of the week, whoever lose, they normally send $5 to each other. But what we've done, we've changed, and I think Renard, if he doesn't do it this week, he should be able to put our cash app somewhere down below. So what we do is we just basically, if I lose, I send my money and it goes to the show versus going to each other. So hey, if anybody out there want to make any bets, just let me know. Matter of fact, where is
Pat? Because Pat ain't showed up. Where's Pat?
Yeah, Pat, you owe the show $5, by the way.
Because he was strong in his convictions about that South Carolina,
and we ain't seen him at all today at all.
So he was really strong about South Carolina beating Kentucky, and we all just kind of looked at him like sure?
Okay, you just dare to be different.
Yeah, okay. And Ben, I think that's exactly what it was. He was just daring to be different.
Yeah.
Next game, you guys think South Carolina can bounce back with the new coach, Beamer Ball?
I like Beamer. I like his connections. I like who he's been coached under. But you know, South Carolina is a different type of beast.
I agree.
I think they really wanted Satterfield, but he just was like, I'm not. He dug his foot in the sand and said, I'm not dipping. I'm staying at Louisville.
Yeah. No, that's a hard gig. That's a hard gig, no doubt. So
right.
We'll see. He's got connections and he can recruit the South. So it's a good starting point. But yeah, I don't know how winnable that job is. If the old ball coach couldn't really do it, you know, it's tough to imagine anybody else doing it.
It's gonna be interesting with his connects game. Who can he pull up out of Virginia? That's gonna be more see who he can get out of those back channels. Since I'm sure he got plenty of connections in Virginia to see if he can pull a couple of them guys out of there.
And that area is wide open now too.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one school in that area dominating. So
nope.
They can do it. Yeah, it's a good call.
I think he needs to. I think if he wins the state of South Carolina, I think he'll be okay too. There's a lot because I think Clemson being on a national level right now, more so. I think if he can go in there and get some of those South Carolina kids, I think he'll be pretty good too.
That's a good point. Keep him away from Georgia and other schools.
And definitely keep him away from Clemson for sure.
Good point. Next on the docket is going to be we got Minnesota versus Nebraska. Nebraska's a 10.5-point favorite. It's 2:30 p.m. on ESPN. Mr. Tuck, who you got, sir?
Nebraska. I'm not even putting Minnesota no more.
No more. After that, Nebraska, after that shutout, when I picked them, no more. No.
Dave?
The Minnesota that I thought I was going to see this year, clearly not the Minnesota we're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen. So give me the Corn Huskers.
Well, somebody got to be different, so I'll take a stab at Minnesota.
Roll the boat.
I'll take Nebraska. I think Frost and company are doing a little bit better now. Finally, going to stick with one quarterback. We think. Give me Nebraska. They'll score. Nobody can play defense in this game, but Cam Taylor Brick can. Ain't that right, Coach?
Oh boy. Next on the docket, we got old-fashioned rivalry. USC versus UCLA. USC is a 2.5-point favorite. This game is 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Mr. Tuck, who you got, sir? Is he talking?
No.
Oh, he had to I guess he had to go. Oh, Ben, who you got?
It's funny, man. I think Kirk and them just wanted to go to California, man, on this one. But we can leave that alone. But give me USC. I'll take USC.
Okay. You take USC, Dave.
USC find a way to win, man. Wow. I'm gonna roll with the Trojans.
Gonna roll with the Trojans. So Tuck is back. So Tuck, who you got? USC or UCLA?
Oh, USC. Fight on.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll with USC too.
I'm a lone wolf again. UCLA, man. USC's won some games they weren't supposed to win.
Definitely the Arizona State one.
I think it catches up to them. UCLA is good now. I mean, not a lot of people have seen them, but they can score. Should have beat Oregon. So give me UCLA and Chip Kelly. I haven't said that name in a while. Chip Kelly gets it.
Very, very true. Definitely ain't said that name in a while. That might be a good thing. All right, I'm opting out of this next pick. We got Auburn versus.
Nah.
Okay. Auburn's a 6.5 point favorite, down from 12. Good Jesus. Down from 12, 6.5 point favorite with all the turmoil and all the.
That's a big jump.
Big drop, dog. Like you, like somebody almost have to die for for to go from that point. But and that might have been from a different from a few weeks ago too when they first said it. But 6.5 point favorite, 6:30 p.m. SEC Network. Mr. Tuck, it's on you, sir.
Oh, I mean, who cares? War Eagles, let's go. For the Better Man program, I'm almost dark Auburn and want to say Mississippi State, but no, there's no y'all. Auburn should not lose Mississippi State. They shouldn't. They shouldn't.
But you know what?
Yeah,
we should not be in the house in 2020. But hey, it is what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that your pick? Okay.
Auburn, yeah, Auburn.
Ben?
I'm gonna roll with Auburn, and I expect Tank to have a big game
if he plays.
Dave? I'm gonna roll with Auburn simply because I believe Auburn lost to two teams that were just a little bit. Just one was just flat out better, and the other one just a little bit better than them. Not that they didn't put up a fight against Texas A&M. I think this team still has some fight in them.
Right.
I really do. So I don't believe that they will let Mississippi State get out of this game. So I'm gonna roll with Auburn.
Yeah, the Texas A&M game, looking at it, and even the other game, the Bama game, man, the difference that we talked about on the show the last couple of weeks, the biggest issue with Auburn, man, is up front on both sides. I mean, then you add in the inconsistency with Bo Nix. Like that, to me, that Auburn defensive line is embarrassing to the standards that they played to under Rodney Gardner over the past few years. And I want to pick them. I really, really do. But for the sake of not being dark Auburn yet, look, I go in and out. I'm gonna stick with Auburn too.
Yeah, let's give Auburn the clean sweep. I think against anyone else, I'd be a little skeptical. But if you don't have a great D line and they're not going to run it, you can kind of hide that. So
right.
I think he helps out Auburn a little bit just by his philosophy, and War Eagle gets it done.
Man, knowing what's his name, man, he knows that we suck on the defensive line. He might do a couple play action passes and run the ball up the middle and throw some routes out there. I don't know.
Well, how strong a Mississippi State line? I've seen it a couple times this year. I wasn't like 100% impressed, but I mean,
they're okay.
They're okay.
Pass protection, they're okay. I mean, but they're dropped their. I mean, they have like 8 receivers out, 7 receivers in the route.
Right.
Sometimes, I mean, I don't know. It just.
And I'll take Auburn's secondary over their receivers too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
True. It's a Smoke Monday want to play this week. That's a whole other story. Moving on.
This week, he's been more of a cloudy mist lately. So
Houston at Memphis, 2:30 p.m. ESPNU. Oh, Ben, be quiet. Houston is a 5-point favorite. Go ahead, Tuck.
Give me the chop the screw. Give me Houston over Orange.
You know what?
Give me Houston.
Where is that? Where the game at, Nord? Is it the Orange Mound? Is it Memphis? Is it Memphis? I'm gonna ride with Memphis one more time, dog. Give me Memphis.
Boy.
Give me Memphis. Give me Memphis one more time.
Memphis gonna let you down the whole year.
I know they have. I know.
Oh man. I think Houston. I think Houston's gonna get this one, man. I really do. So let me roll. I'm gonna roll with Houston.
Okay. I mean, I like Memphis offense. I like a lot of things about it, but something about Houston is just telling me to go with them. But it is at Memphis. Somebody, and I cannot agree with Ben. That's against my religion. But you know what, though, Ben? I'm gonna give you credit because you did that last week and you were right. I'm gonna give you one more chance. I'm gonna roll with you. I'm gonna roll with them Memphis Tigers. Go ahead.
There we go. There we go.
You see, I got my Houston colors on right now. No, give me Houston, and before the game, they're going to get an Alabamian to commit to their program.
Sure.
So give me Houston just because they get another Alabamian on the roster. More of that, please. Houston, Memphis, all those schools.
Hey, that's
more, please.
That's gonna be a good look, Dave. That's if he rolled that way, that's gonna be good, man.
Yeah, we that's another close situation over there to Mr. Gardner in the corner too. That particular one that you are hinting to, I'll just leave it like that. And I have the right, and I need to change. I might need to change my pick again. Oh, hold on.
Hey, look at Mr. Indecisive today,
bro. I'm very much indecisive today. Very much. Oh, it is what it is. Another game, we got Michigan State versus Penn State. Mm-hmm. Penn State is a 14.5 point favorite. Good God. 2:30 p.m. ESPN. The Fighting Mel Tuckers against the rebounding James Franklins. Man, like I want this win so bad for Michigan State, but go ahead, Tuck. Who you got?
Give me Penn State. No Nittany Lions. It ain't gonna be close. Yeah.
I got you, Ben.
Give me them Tuckers. Give me Michigan State.
You know
Damn,
why? You know why you want Michigan State? Because they played a top 25 team in Michigan. That's why
they did. They were ranked. The number was beside them when they beat Michigan. They were a top 25. They did. They did.
Hey, man,
is that what we hanging our hat on now?
Yes.
I wasn't bringing it. I was not bringing it back up. Tuck did. I was not bringing it back up.
Because that's what he was going to do. I was ready for it.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Dave.
Man, I think Michigan State is they're just on the wrong side of the COVID season. So give me Penn State, man. I think Franklin gets it done, and it's the reason why I got this white hoodie on. Give me those Penn State Nittany Lions.
Ooh, the all white. You know how it is. I'm definitely rolling with Penn State. I can't trust Mel Tucker, bro. No, I can't trust them. I can't trust no Fords right now, bro. They in bad display.
Okay, it's right before we kick. Okay.
Yeah, give me Penn State. No problem for them. They're playing pretty well. I mean, nobody's watching anymore, but they're playing pretty well. And they on the other side of what USC had, right? So they lost some games they should have won. So
right,
Penn State.
Penn State. I'm with you on that one, man. I'm definitely rolling with Penn State. I don't have that much confidence in them, but I'll roll with them. There's been a lot of comments in here in the comment section about some of our picks. I don't know how y'all felt about it, but I feel like people trying to be funny. And then of course Kip tries in talking about Ben. This we could take Ben.
Didn't none of us think that? You know what?
I mean, that's a 14.5 point favor being, and you okay?
Yeah.
Don't put no money on nothing.
I told y'all I don't bet. I play fantasy football for money. I don't do parlays. I done told y'all that.
You don't do logical sense either.
Hey. My logic works great in fantasy football, brother. I done won every year for the last 8 years straight, brother. I am good.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What does fantasy football have to do with what we're doing right now?
Because he brought up gambling, and I said that I don't gamble. I've admitted that.
We're talking about this gambling right here.
Right, I don't do that. I don't do that one.
Well, you as stubborn as the sun is bright. I mean, there was some other things people talked about, but Sean did think that Missouri is going to pull the upset.
Yeah.
Right.
It's close. I think
I think it's definitely closer than what the number is, which is 13. You know, I think that's definitely going on something on Saturday. Oh, Kip is just after bed tonight.
I'm not dealing with Kip tonight. I may not because if I go back, he was on my picks from last week and I was right. So now we're not going there. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that be.
So we get 1 week out of 15.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. When I'm right, I don't get no credit. You know what I'm saying?
I gave you credit, Ben. I gave you
not you. I didn't say you.
Oh, okay. I gave you some credit, dog. Don't bring it with me or anything like that. Oh, Dave, they want to see the hoodie again. I'm sorry. Hold on, sir.
Y'all gonna make a model of hoodie again?
Yeah,
Take the name down. Take the name down.
I got you, sir. Since y'all want to see what we rocking, see Down South Football Podcast.
Legit.
And then on the sleeve.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike.
Give this man a runway, y'all. Give this guy a runway. Hey man, look, if y'all need some stuff made, man, holler at my boy Mike. Just hit me up in the inbox. I'll connect you. I mean, quality stuff. I mean, not the kind that you wash and they peel off. You know, y'all go to your kids' little league game. You wear the shirt one time and the number just fall off the next game. It's none of that. You know,
none of that. It's legit. We'll deal with Kip after the fact. Let's keep moving because I'm not finna do this shit.
Oh my God! But anyway, man, we with John, man, we really appreciate you coming on, man, and dropping your knowledge anytime. Please follow John. I'm gonna let John give all his information where you can follow him at, and make sure y'all go on to check out the SI99. Check out siallamerican.com. John, give them your social media information so they can follow you, sir.
Yeah, it's just John Garcia _JR on all platforms. Check us out, siallamerican.com. We got updates every day, blogs every day, keeping up with it as best we can. It's all free too, so don't worry about paying that subscription. All free information, analysis. Everybody who evaluates for us either coached or played college ball or better, so it's real deal stuff. So check us out, siallamerican.com.
And also, as always, man, y'all follow us. Y'all see our Twitter handles right here because y'all definitely have no problem talking to us on there. Also, man, check us. Make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel so we can bring more great people like John on. We need y'all to continue to like and continue y'all to subscribe. But we thank y'all for continuing to rock with us, man, and just continue to be with us throughout this year. We got more stuff coming. As Dave said, the merch is going to continue to drop. Just make sure y'all continue to watch. But, man, thanks for tuning in. Hope we can have some football this weekend and no more cancellations, man. If there's nothing else, we'll talk to y'all next time, and we're out.
All right, y'all.